All right, I have a couple of shout outs here given to me on paper today in court. Nate, I have a super fan that's been following me in the case since the beginning. In recent weeks, her husband graduated from medical school in Michigan. She delivered twins and moved to Ohio. Wow, that is a busy few weeks. She hasn't had much time to follow this case as close as she liked. That said, shout out to Tyler and Tatiana. Congrats on the twins. Yes, good luck to you over the next few years. I have another note. Shout out to Tanya from Queen Creek. She's from England. She's got a wonderful accent. She wore her mugshot shirt to court today. We got a photo. Shout out to her two friends, Gene Webb in Wisconsin, and Ken Zach is a truck driver who listens from all over the United States. Ken and Tanya and Gene, thank you. By the way, we do a series called Working It where we try different jobs out. And I did before I came to the trial, I spent a couple hours with a truck driver and they put me in a semi and had me do the course. It was awesome. I think that maybe some days when the news is crazy, I just want to hop in a semi and drive it. And maybe we'll do Courtroom Insider or something. I don't know. You can watch it. I put it on my Facebook page. So thank you to all the truck drivers. Thank you. I got a note right before closings saying, we left you some Jolly Ranchers and a $20 bill so you and Jordan can go get a milkshake. And this is from the Facts with a Side of Tea. Facts with a side of tea. So you can decide what the fact and what the tea is. Anyway, I mentioned Apple Jolly Ranchers the other day. Thank you to Janice and the Facts with the side of tea. And for the $20, Jordan and I have said there's a milkshake place right by the courthouse, which the milkshakes are bigger than this microphone, like massive, with cookies stuffed in and brownies and candy bars. They're huge, and they're, I guess, like $20. And maybe we'll go get one. Okay, now let's go to your shout outs that Peggy collected. There's a lot of them here. Lucy H., Hope Robertson, Tia Desierna from Mexico. The pot stirrers are here, and I have a picture. These are the ladies who met through Courtroom Insider through this trial. Let me try to get it to zoom in there. I hope it focuses. Some are from East Idaho. There we go. They all have mugshot shirts, which is amazing. So thanks to the pot stirrers for watching, and don't stir the pot too much. Heather Daybell, remember in the trial in Idaho, Chad's father, I believe, said that she was a pot stirrer. Cat and Ham Stumbo from Pocatello. Patia Cafe from La Quinta, California. Quinta. Elaine Chester from Humid, Florida. Tanya from Queen Creek. We talked about her. Angela Jones from London. Scott Clements. Penny Claus from Illinois. Nita Smith and Kiora. I think I did that one last night, Peggy. Peggy just wants to be sure I get that one in. Here we go. Questions. Is the verdict tomorrow going to be on a 30-minute streaming delay? Good question. Glad you asked. No, 5-minute delay. I wish we could go fully live, but Judge Boreski wants a 5-minute delay in case anything happens. So here's how it will work tomorrow. We're going to start our live stream right at 9 o'clock. And then when the verdict is in, we will have about a 20-minute heads up, 20 to 25 minutes. I will tweet that out. I will put it on my Facebook. We'll put it on YouTube. And then we will cut over 5 minutes after court starts. We will go live with the verdict. After the verdict, stay with us because I'm going to run downstairs and we will, Brandon Boudreau will likely address the media. Other people might address the media. I don't know if Kay Woodcock will have anything to say. If Colby's there, we'll try to politely speak with some jurors if they want to speak. And then we'll have complete coverage for you tomorrow afternoon or morning or whenever. I don't know how long that coverage is going to be because honestly, it's 110 degrees outside. But rest assured, tomorrow night we'll do Courtroom Insider from here. And I was thinking, outside my window is the pool. I'm like, one night before I leave, maybe Friday night, I should do Courtroom Insider by the pool. Would you watch that? Is that too distracting? It might be weird because people might be swimming behind me, but Erica and I did one from the beach. We can do it from the pool. We'll see. What does Nate think of the reasoning is that Lori did not have any questions for Detective Hermosillo? That is a good question, Lieutenant Hermosillo. I think, excuse me, she knows that Hermosillo knows a lot. She never liked him. He was dark. I think he makes her nervous. I think she didn't even want to open the can of worms because remember, if she asked questions, Trina gets up to redirect. He was prepared for her questions. I think he was a little stunned that she didn't have any. I think we all kind of were, but not really. Kay Woodcock, she kind of did the same thing. She did ask questions, but yeah. Denise, I know this hasn't been proven, but who was driving the car? Are they saying Alex jumped out and took a shot and got back in and drove away? He didn't jump out. I think what they're saying is that he opened the back door of the Jeep. He was laying in wait. He fired, and then he turned around and jumped in the driver's seat and drove away. I think that's what they're saying. They haven't said anything more on if there was another driver in the car, because his car continued to move and he was out of there. So I think he was just able to do it quickly. Is there air conditioning in the jail? I would hope so. I know that some of you wish there wasn't, but yes, in this area, there has to be air conditioning everywhere. Although I did live in Richmond, Virginia, where the jail in Richmond City did not have air conditioning, or it was constantly breaking, and it was horrendous, and there were inmates that died like every summer. But yeah, they've got to have air conditioning. Tara says, why put the tire in the storage unit and not just in their garage? I was thinking about that. Based on what the testimony we heard today with the phone calls back and forth with Alex calling Chad after the attempted shooting, I would imagine the conversation could have gone something like, I shot the car, but he's driving. I didn't hit him. And then Chad is saying, oh crap, and calling Lori, and Melanie was on the call too. And he's saying he missed. And then they're worried because what if somehow they find Melanie in Idaho? Well, Melanie wasn't in Idaho. They find Lori in Idaho. They find Chad. What if somehow you worry? You go into worry mode of, oh no, are they going to be on our tail? Let's get rid of any and all the evidence that we have here. Let's go to the storage unit and drop off the tire in the seat. That's my idea, because there were calls, and then that afternoon, Chad and Lori are at the storage unit. And then when Alex comes back, they're probably like, all right, we got to get that tire back on, and we got to get the seat back in case anybody says anything. That's just my idea. I think it was probably a panic type of move to get it taken care of. If Melanie gets charged, will you cover the case? Yes, I will. I will. If she doesn't get charged, I'll cover it too. Nate, how does Lori get her highlights? I do not know. I don't know, unless her attorneys bring it to it. Someone told me that in the commissary, you can get some basic hair dye type stuff. Eileen asks that. Nate, have I secured an interview with Nancy Joe? Thank you, Stacy, for asking. I've been in communication with Nancy. We've spoken several times over the past, since Charles's trial. We've texted and talked. She's been at court every day. I hope she'll do an interview with me once. I'd love to talk with her, but we'll see. We'll see if she does. When she's ready, I don't want to push her. I don't want to push anybody. Same with Brandon. I hope Brandon does an interview with me. I've asked Trina Kay to do an interview. I think if that one happens, it will be after the sentencing. Hopefully not after the appeals, but I don't think that will be in the next few days. But yeah, I'd love to talk to anybody involved. Are Melanie and Lori allowed to communicate? And if they are, do they? They are allowed to communicate. Yes, Melanie is not in jail or anything, and she could set up an account to communicate with inmates. I don't know if they are. Hillary says, in the pictures of Alex's guns, were they able to determine what the distance was set at on the scope? No, we haven't heard anything about that. Is the storage unit the biggest scoop of your career? If not, what is? Lynn says. Oh, probably Hawaii. Being in Hawaii was bigger than the storage unit. And the Hawaii one-on-one led to the storage unit, led to the interview with Melanie Gibb, led to other scoops along the way with this story. Yes, this story is the biggest. There's been other stories that have been big at the moment, but none that have lasted this long and been this intense and been this much interest. One day, maybe tomorrow or the next day, I'll tell you about my biggest regret in journalism, where I stopped pursuing a story. I had a really big scoop. I stopped pursuing it, and then it turned into a massive story, and the Washington Post and all the national media were on it, and I had it first, and I kind of gave it up. And it led to a governor. It was a political scandal. I'll tell about that another time. Why is this case a conspiracy case and not an attempted murder case? I think conspiracy might be easier to prove, that they conspired rather than attempted, and it's all under one code. It's all under the murder code, so sentencing could be the same, 25 years to life. It's all the same there, and so they probably go with what they charge with what they believe a jury can find guilty, and that's what they went with. Was the silencer ever found in Alex's stuff? There was a bunch of um, gun equipment, obviously, and ammunition. I don't know if there was a specific silencer found. Nate, have you talked to Melanie Pawlowski and ever done an interview with her? Yes, I have. I did it back in May of 2020, right before Mother's Day, and it was COVID, and so I couldn't travel to do it in person. We had to do it on Zoom, and Zoom was brand new. Her and Ian sat down and we Zoomed, and there was technical problems. But anyway, that's on our page on our YouTube. You can go watch the whole thing with the caveat that the children had not been found. Nobody knew where the kids were at that point. At least no, none of us did. And the situation has obviously changed a lot since then. So this interview is 5 years old, and I would love to talk to Melanie again. And I think I could be fair. And we have communicated over the years, not regularly, but on and off. I think that's it for our questions tonight. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate it very much. There's where you can find me and keep up to date tomorrow: Facebook, X, Insta, and YouTube, where you are probably watching right now. We'll be back. Big day tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I appreciate it. I'm Nate Eaton. This is Courtroom Insider. Take care.